Welcome. Today we're talking about how to find the area of isosceles triangles. Now you might think, well, in the last video we already found the area of triangles. How is this different? But you'll see in just a minute. First, let's review all of the formulas we have so far. If you don't have a formula sheet, a little cheat sheet, all of these formulas in your notes somewhere, you should do that at some point. Now would be a great time to just get all of these written down. So area of a rectangle, length times width. Area of a parallelogram, base times height. Area of a kite, 1/2 times the product of the diagonals. Area of a trapezoid is the sum of the bases times the height and divide by 2. Area of a circle is pi times r squared. Area of a sector is theta over 360 times pi r squared. And area of a triangle is 1/2 times the base times the height. Now with isosceles triangles, we already know that the overall area is going to equal 1/2 times base times height. But what if you're not given the height? For example, here's a triangle. We know the base is 6, and we know those legs are 5 centimeters, but we don't know the height. If we draw this altitude from the vertex of an isosceles triangle, so that top one, it will bisect the base. So not only do we know that we have a height somewhere, but this altitude makes congruent pieces of the base. So then what we have is, instead of a 6 centimeter base, we have 2 3 centimeter bases. Now over here, this is a right triangle. Because it was an altitude, we know it makes a right angle at the bottom. And since we have our same legs, we have those same bases, these actually are 2 congruent triangles, one on the right, one on the left. Now we're going to focus just on the one on the right for a minute. We're going to find the area of this single right triangle. And we still don't know the height though. We need the height to be able to find the area. Luckily though, this is a right triangle, so we can use Pythagorean Theorem. We'll just set height to b. So we have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And we'll see how it goes. So our base is 3, that's one of the legs of our right triangle, so we'll put that in for A. The hypotenuse is 5, so that's definitely C. 3 squared is 9, 5 squared is 25. Subtract 9 from both sides gives us B squared equals 16, and then we'll do the square root of both sides, which gives us B equals 4. So that fills in for our B right there, which really, remember, is the height of the triangle that we wanted. So now we have everything we need. We can find the area of this right triangle. Area equals 1/2 times base times height. 3 is the base and 4 is the height. And let's go ahead and simplify. 3 times 4 is 12. And then 1/2 times 12. Remember, 1/2 times something is the same as your something divided by 2. So 12 divided by 2 gives us 6, of course. So now our answer is 6 square centimeters. Now that we have the area of one of the right triangles as 6 square centimeters, remember the other side was exactly the same, so it's also 6 square centimeters. So our total area for the original triangle that we were originally asked about, we would just add those up, and our total area is 12 square centimeters. Now let's walk through one more example so that you can get the hang of the steps. We're going to find the area of this isosceles triangle that has a base of 3 inches and it has 6-inch legs. So we're going to need the height for sure. So step 1 is use Pythagorean Theorem to find the height. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now remember though, a squared plus b squared equals c squared only works on right triangles. So when we're looking at the sides that we're going to use for our a and our c, we have to use the bottom of the right triangle, not the entire isosceles. So we only need half of that base, and half of 3 is 1.5. So as we fill this in, 1.5 squared plus b squared equals 6 squared, because 6 was the leg of the isosceles triangle. It became the hypotenuse of our right triangle. And we'll go ahead and get a calculator out to do these. 1.5 squared is 2.25, and 6 squared is 36. Subtract to get b squared equals 33.75. Now, we really want b squared, we want just regular b. So we'll do the square root of both sides. And then we end up with b equals 5.809475. This is not our final answer yet, so don't round it yet. Keep this number in your calculator. But that number is your height. So now we can find the area of the entire triangle. Of course, we're going to use a equals 1/2 base times height. But I'm going to look at the entire isosceles triangle now. So when I look at my base times my height, I'm going to go back to that full 3. So the full 3 for my base, the height of 5.809475. Really, in my calculator that already had that big crazy decimal, I'm just going to hit times 3. So my calculator says 17.4284. I still need to finish out the formula, 1/2 times that big crazy number. But remember, 1/2 times something is the same thing as that something divided by 2. So in my calculator, I haven't cleared anything yet. I'm just going to hit divide by 2, and I get 8.71421. Now that is our final answer. So now we can go ahead and round it down to 8.7. And we do take the square units. So we were given inches. Our final answer will be in square inches. So just to recap, remember you always use Pythagorean Theorem on half of the isosceles triangle, because that half is a right triangle. That gives you the height. Then you can go back and find the area of your entire triangle. So that's all we have for area of isosceles triangles. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.